Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show. Today I have absolutely zero clue what we are doing because I either forgot or more likely he forgot to explain it.
I totally explained it to you.
Well,
Welcome back to the show, folks. Today we're going to show off two of the box sets that we got from Archon Studios. The Dungeons and Lasers Encounters Kickstarter, starting with the Land of the Giants terrain set, which I've just about finished painting. I've got to do a couple of little minor touch-ups, but I'm going to remove these things so you get a nice good look at it. And this is everything you get, the various pieces of terrain. These archways are modular, and I figured it will take about 3 sets to make a full circle, but you don't have to go all crazy like that. And the gazebo, as my friends call it, is an absolutely stunning piece, but for some reason it's just not meeting up. There we go. You got to be very careful when you put this together because it's a multi-part piece, and it's got a little, oh, that's stuck, circular piece in here that you can use as the entrance into, a dungeon or something like that. I really like that. On the artwork, they painted it.
It's also just so that you can have it split apart.
Right.
So
and I highly recommend
insides.
that you do not assemble it completely when you're painting it. Otherwise, you won't be able
at all, I would say.
You won't be able to get the interior painted, properly.
Because it's difficult to get this in and out if it's...
But I want to show you off a couple of really interesting pieces. This stone head is really fun. I didn't finish with the vulture on top, but it's got enough room back there where you could actually, hide some kobolds or something like that, and they could jump out at you. I really like this piece.
Mm-hmm.
Then this sort of stairway hand piece is... Let me find a good miniature. Here we go. You can pretty much get someone to stand up on top of it and do their, witchcrafty stuff up there, which is kind of cool. And then there's this giant sort of broken atlas piece with
a couple of extra pieces.
Yeah, there's a couple of arms and a foot. And all of this stuff would make great diorama pieces or just, scattered terrain, lots of little walls and things like that to hide behind, and various sets of broken columns, which you saw us make before, but these turned out really, really nice.
Yeah, we did make these, but these are a lot more detailed. Obviously, they were sculpted.
Right. But I'm going to also show off, there's these 2 broken columns, which are kind of cool. They've got, a skull on one side and just a blank face on the other side. But they're also more scattered terrain, things to hide behind. And then these lovely pieces.
Let's get the face.
These.
You forgot to mention, it's a skull inside of a skull.
Yeah. And then there's these 2 broken archways. I guess they're supposed to be like these here, but have fallen over or something like that. But either way, it's got a lot of nice scattered terrain that you can use for all kinds of things, and the whole, size and scope of it. They're nice and big. Not really giant size if you compare them to things like WizKids miniatures, or even some of the Archon Studios giants, but you get the idea. Now I'm going to put these away so the little guy can start showing off the next set that we want to show off tonight, which is the creature set. Now this set comes with 32 pieces, 32 different monsters, and we forgot the giant wasps downstairs. I'm going to run and go get
those are part of this?
Yeah, I'm going to run it down and go get those while you start showing off what's here. But let me put this in the box.
Alright.
Because those are his favorite pieces, actually. And
yes,
they were downstairs.
There are some decent pieces here.
There's some great pieces. I'll be right back. You show everybody. You show everybody, and I'll go get those.
All right.
I can't believe I did that.
I suppose I should start with the smallest, but the smallest are some, but not. I can't say that seriously. There are some amazing stuff here. You have a lot of bugs here. I think this is one of them. Yeah, it is. You have these 3 spiders, which I definitely painted. I will paint them. It's just Chewy. doing?
Don't even
Dang
do
it.
that.
Anyway, so I painted these. I painted them all. These are the spiders. This one, I actually do genuinely really like this pose. A lot of spiders just have either something like this or they're just crawling. But this one's
It's got the
a lot
web
cooler.
shooting down like it's descending. I thought that was actually really clever.
Then I suppose it's only fitting to go to the next spider, which I also painted.
They're just.
I mean, big spiders are common, but it's definitely a good one.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite spiders. It's better than most of the Reaper miniatures.
Yeah, a lot of the big spiders that we have are kind of sucky. This one definitely isn't.
Mm-hmm. And
do we have a better one? Maybe, but I don't know.
I don't think so. Even that big one that you didn't finish.
I finished. Did I finish?
No, you didn't.
I don't know what you're talking about. Then.
It's like this big.
Oh, that one. I wasn't even painting that one. Was I?
Yeah, you were.
Oh. Well, that one's. I only like that one more because it's a lot bigger. This one is a super cool.
Here, let's put the ones that you've already done.
Sculpt, I guess. Is that the word that I'm looking for? It's been a while since I've done this.
What else have you shown off?
Nothing. Alright. Okay. Alright, let's go to the mushroom guys, because they're the next smallest.
Yeah, they're kind of cool.
And I always like mushroom people, though I don't like this mushroom person.
And she's the queen of the mushroom people.
Oh.
No, it's just...
Doesn't look like a mushroom.
She's the queen of the... If you look at her headgear, she's got mushrooms for her crown.
I would have designed it a bit differently, but I also would have just made a big mushroom.
One of the great things about Archon Studios is they really put a lot of character into all of their sculpts.
That is, yeah.
You want to go with the wolves
Sometimes to the detriment of whoever is making them. I'll try to find an example of... I don't think there are any here.
Let's go with the wolves. They're simple.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, wolves are something that has probably been done a lot, but as usual, it may not be the most original thing, but it's definitely some of the best I've seen.
I really like the fact that it actually appears that they remember the old Heritage Miniatures wolves. This pose is identical. This, I'm not sure if there's one like this, but this and this. And the Heritage Miniature wolves, for those of you who know, are some of the rarest miniatures ever made. They were so hard to find that at one time one of the lead wolves was selling for almost $300 for a 25mm lead wolf. And yeah, I actually have a couple of them, but it's nice to be able to get, more wolves, because when you run into wolves, you usually need more than one or two. You usually need quite a few of them, so this adds...
Having 5 is what I'd recommend.
What do you want to show off next? Centaurs?
No, I'll show off these bugs, because I quite like them.
The giant centipedes?
Yeah. Though technically they are neither centipedes nor millipedes, because I don't think there are 50, or not 50, I'm dumb, 100 or 1,000 on here.
I don't think a millipede actually has 1,000 legs.
Yeah, I know.
But they're pretty creepy, and they do have, interesting poses. That one coming up out of the ground, I really like. That one's really,
I kind of wish they made a bigger one, but that's just because I think they're really cool. Actually, though, the real difference between a centipede and a millipede is centipedes have 1 leg per segment, millipedes have 2.
Okay. Now, let's move on to the next ones.
Alright, I'll do the centaurs now.
And I already started painting this one, and I really absolutely love this color. I think it's actually... it's a sand color from the... it's sand golem, I believe, from the Army Painter Speed Paints. And I absolutely love the way it came out for the Centaur.
I do really like this pose.
Yeah, the Sagittarius pose.
Yeah.
And this one was not easy to put together. And a word of advice, Archon, next time you do horses like this, try to give them peg bases so that their feet stick into the holes. The hardest part about these was getting them to glue onto the bases. The bases are wonderful, and I probably should have gone into that. There's more than enough.
All of the bases
are highly sculpted, and you get a lot of extras.
I mean, they're all. I think they're all unique, aren't they?
Pretty much. Well, you get doubles. There's 2 sprues, and you get almost 10 extra bases when you're done mounting all these creatures.
And you can choose which ones go where.
Right, but for these and actually the parrot, which is this guy right here, it had a pegged hole where you had to stick the miniature into the base. It makes for a better contact point, gives them more strength, and when you're using model glue, it melts the plastic together, and it makes a huge difference. Some of these really, like this one right here, it just they were really difficult. But enough of that. Let's move on to something else.
Yes, I've been looking at these because I didn't actually see them.
Yeah, these ones are all different. Let me show you. This one's a satyr. This one is a witch who's actually got bird claw feet, stilts that are strapped onto her feet, which is kind of interesting.
That's not what I thought that was.
And then this one is, I believe, a wolf man who has yet to turn into the wolf. I think that's what it said. He's, carrying somebody's head and a spear. It's an interesting miniature you could use for a lot of different stuff. The satyr, sitting on a stump, getting ready to, play some pan flute music. Not a lot of use out of this one. It's kind of a one-time you use it, and then your party never runs into one again. But
yeah, still cool. Always a fan.
Absolutely. What do you want to do next?
Not quite sure. This is pretty cool.
That actually it looks like just a branch, but it was an alternate part of the wyvern base. You could have either had the wyvern mounted on that. Let's show the wyvern off since we're talking about it. Okay, we'll come back to it then.
We'll do these, I guess. We'll start with dog person.
Werewolf.
Yes.
It's actually
not the biggest fan of werewolves, but
it's a
cool
really
miniature.
good pose. It's a really nice pose. It's I think better than the ones that come with the Shadows of Brimstone set
I
of
don't know
werewolves.
the ones that come with the
But
Shadows of
it's
Brimstone set, but that
really,
doesn't surprise me.
It's really a nice pose.
Archon do have good miniatures. Whoever's sculpting, big brain.
That is a manticore, and it's another very nice sculpt. I used that same sand color, but over a black and white zenithal, so it came out a little different. But it's a really nice one. You never have enough manticores in my book. Or I think it's a manticore. Chimera is the one that has
Chimera.
Chimera, yeah,
Chimera.
has the 3 heads. But yeah, I don't have enough of those, so it's a great addition.
HMF, please don't sponsor us.
Okay, this one is I think it's called an alicorn or pernicon, depending on I've heard different titles, but they also call it the black unicorn. It's basically a bat-winged Pegasus with a curved horn. That's going to be fun. I'm probably going to do it in like a really dark purple for the body.
And green or black?
No. Well, I didn't finish the base. Look at that. I didn't finish dry brushing the base. But it's one of my favorites. This one is possibly my favorite with one weird exception.
Okay.
Put that down so they can see.
I definitely like the pose.
Check this out. The whole thing is balanced on the human that it's attacking. Okay, the tail looks like it's holding it up, but it's really not.
It's the tail.
It's an after effect.
Slightly above.
The tail is like the last piece you put on the model, but get a good profile so they can see the guy being, attacked by the parrot, which is just a giant eagle monster with antlers. Not a monster you usually see in a game, but
I've never seen anything that looks remotely like this.
But
this is definitely my favorite pose.
Okay,
it's not my favorite,
other really
but
cool. You see the sword? I don't know if you can see the sword. He's dropping it because he just got attacked, and it's perfectly just put in there. It's just the right angle, and this miniature shows off. It tells a full story right there. I mean,
yeah.
It's just a wonderful
It's
sculpt.
almost my favorite. Definitely my second. No.
That's literally my favorite miniature in your hand. You're gonna ask why, and I honestly
I have a completely different reason for liking this miniature, but if you know, you know.
It's just a white stag, which isn't really a monster per se, but it's just an interesting miniature that you don't really see something that's that simple and beautiful.
Yeah.
But without trying to be all scary or macho or anything like that.
Because usually stuff like this, when I like this specifically like for one particular reason, but I do like the idea of having something that is not even, like, what's the word?
Violent or
Yes.
Okay.
That works.
it's just a nice classic creature from mythology. I believe that sighting one of these is supposed to bring you good luck, or something like that. And I was just really drawn to it just because of the originality of throwing something like this
Yeah.
in a set full of just nasty, nasty monsters.
All right, we'll go to
The plant monsters.
yeah.
Okay, first we have Audrey 2. That's the little one. Just show them off to the camera. Some of these, this is the first time he's seen them, with any large amount of detail. This is your basic,
Plant thing.
little shop of horrors kind of, plant monster. It's almost humorous with the little side Venus flytrap heads and the main one in the middle.
Yeah.
Just a cool, classic, goofy monster that honestly I wish I had a bunch of these because running up against one would be scary for a low level party, but a handful of these is going to scare anybody going into the jungle or what have you. And then we have your typical shambler. That's too close to the camera. It's just a big walking swamp monster made out of the swamp, and it's about to hurl a big rock at you. And I've got a lot of work to do with this one. I just wanted to slap some greens on there and try out all of my green, speed paints. But it's a nice, interesting take on the classic swamp monster.
Yeah.
And without looking like the Swamp Thing or Man Thing from Marvel and DC Comics, they really went and they knocked it out of the park. Easy.
There are a couple of skulls in there that I just noticed.
Yeah.
I always liked plant monsters. One of the main monsters in the stuff I'm writing is a plant monster.
You want to do the next plant monster or the little one?
Yes, I will.
Okay, this demon tree is every time Archon Studios makes a bunch of monsters, they make a miniature that is just about impossible to
paint,
to assemble.
Oh,
the tiny connection points. This one wasn't as bad as the air elemental, but it was definitely. I literally saved it for the last miniature I put together because I knew this was going to be awful to put together. Now,
but the end result is amazing.
And it's got a couple of humans hanging from nooses or whatever, and it's come to life. And I got a lot more work to do on this one, but you can see the two humans hanging from the tree, and apparently they help bring it to life or something. And I like the fact that it's actually standing in a pool of water, which is kind of neat. But again, that just shows the absolute wonderful creativity that they have when they
I also just
go into
really like the
beard.
Well, it's not just that it's hard to tell where the face is, where it isn't, but there are a couple general ideas that I really like. The possible eyes up here, whilst also maybe this.
It's got a face. I just have to dry brush it a little better. It's deep.
Oh, there is an actual. I almost don't like that as much.
Yeah, and it's got a green beard, so it's like an evil tree beard from Lord of the Rings. And the white one?
Yeah.
I think this one's called a swamp golem. No, graveyard golem. It's
very cool.
It's just all kinds of things that you'd find in a graveyard, including the flag or the banner. I love that.
We got to figure out what to put on that.
Yeah, and all the different weapons that are coming up out of it. That even this morning star right here. That's just classic. But all kinds of spears and arrows and daggers and swords and things sticking up out of it, like it just rose from like a graveyard or a battlefield, and some necromancer just told it to rise up, and it's just a really creepy miniature. Here, let me let the camera get one real good close look at the. If you see, it's got a nice cavity where its mouth and face should be. That's part of the assembly process that really made it spooky, I guess. And now the little guy's favorites, just because he's a bit of a bug fan. We're not gonna lie.
Why would that be something to lie about?
And these are giant wasps.
Definitely my favorite.
They were not easy to put together either, with the spindly little legs and what have you, but they turned out pretty interesting, pretty neat, and definitely
I hope
something.
I'm actually going to paint those.
But you can see again, in comparison to a human, that's not something you want to mess with because if you know anything about these kind of bugs, they're fast. They're.
I mean, not only are they fast, but they're some of the greatest flyers on Earth.
Yeah. So.
I mean, it's not only speed, but just general maneuverability.
But if you remember that movie, that classic movie, what was it? Oh God, I can't even remember. The sequel to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, with Captain Nemo and the giant crabs and the wasp's nest. That's definitely something I wouldn't want to mess with. You get stung by one of those, that's good. It's going to ruin your day.
They're wasps. I look at them and I just see the longness of the body. I generally imagine it to be a dragonfly. But if it is meant to be a wasp, then ignore what I previously said.
Now,
Wasps
last but not least, is the wyvern.
Probably objectively best, if there were to be one.
It's just a wyvern, a two-legged dragon.
No, I was talking about the log.
And I was asking Fritz and Cal and a couple other people from GM's Alcove what color to paint it. And, they're telling me earthy tones. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want it to look like any of the other dragons we've painted from them. And we have another red dragon, a baby red dragon that's pretty big. But it's a monster. It's very comparable to the dragons, wouldn't you say?
I mean, absolutely.
But I had the choice of the log or this shipwreck. I had to go with the shipwreck.
Well, because not only is the shipwreck pretty cool looking, but this is the greatest thing ever.
And I'll be able to use that for scatter terrain and stuff.
I guess you could use the boat too.
I just started painting these. I've got a long way to go, but it's when it comes to the bases for all the dragons, this one is just the king. This is the greatest base they've done to mount a monster on, and it was not an easy build. It definitely took some finagling to get every claw. Oh, and let me hold this, because once again, this one also has a little human pierced by its claw.
Really?
Yeah, I'll turn around so you can see it. But he got himself a little snacky snack of a pirate with an actual hook for a hand. I didn't look for the eye patch, but he actually got himself a nice little snack, and you see it now.
Yep.
I mean, that's just these guys. They don't pull any punches when it comes to giving the miniatures character and personality.
Like the frog.
Yeah, I know, right?
The frog is still my favorite thing that has ever been created by a person.
If you know what he's talking about, there's a frog miniature they put in the last Kickstarter.
You can see like a guy
inside. You know how when a frog blows up its belly, and you can see the brrr. Well, you can see like a human trying to push his way out from inside the frog's mouth.
They didn't need to do that.
Yeah,
there's an argument to me that they shouldn't have done it, but they did it anyways, and it was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you have it. Those are the first two boxes we've assembled from the new Kickstarter. And before we go, the next Kickstarter is starting real soon. I'm not sure exactly the date. I believe it's next week. Dungeons and Lasers number 5, which is a big 5th edition sort of compatibility issue they've got going on. But there you have it. We will be doing the rest of this Kickstarter. We've got the regular stretch goals and then the giant stretch goals, which makes up for 3 boxes. 1 box of 75 miniatures, 1 box of 3 miniatures that are massive, and then 1 box of 10 miniatures. And as we get those done, we'll show them off to you guys. It's been a lot of fun assembling and painting these, and now we got to get them into some games. Thank you, Archon Studios, for putting out just literally the best miniatures out there for the best price. Now you might be able to buy some more expensive miniatures that are a little bit better, but for the most part,
I don't think so. These are some of the best I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Reaper and GW, you guys got a hard act to follow, and I seriously don't think you're going to be able to do it. Can't wait to see what the next ones are. Until next time, got anything you want to say?
I mean, not particularly.
All right, folks. How about good night?
I will say that, yes. Good night.
Bye, everybody. We love you. Thanks again for stopping by, and have a great weekend. We love you guys.
Good night.